Hey there everyone, ReefPrince here. This episode is going to be a little bit different from the other ones because this is the first time that I had no idea what deck I wanted to use for the weekend when going into League on Saturday. Unfortunately, nearly all the playtesting I did on Saturday was pretty much kind of a bust. It was just a very straightforward losing fest. There was, however, a new player at League on Saturday. His name was Kyle. We had not seen him before. He just stopped by. He had a deck. He had pieced together from some of the starters. Carl hooked him up with some cards, and he played some games with us, and we sent him on his way. We had a good time. So the entire time we're there, Eric, aka Blaze Belcher, has been trying to talk me into buying a box. And he does this every time. He talks me into buying packs, and I always regret it because my pulls are awful. And he did it again this time. And as of this point, I need 4 different super rares. I need Tatsuri the Unchained, Ravu Seeker of Lightning, Waterspout Gargoyle, and Hovercraft Glu-urrgle. And Eric told me that if we got boxes and I did not get one of those 4 supers, that he would buy me Wingstop afterwards. And I'm borderline addicted to Wingstop, so I agreed. And we opened our boxes. We actually did this thing called Box Wars, where Carl looked over our openings and decided whose packs were better. I believe there's a video of that. If there is, I'll put it in the description once I find it. It'll be on Thunder Sultan's channel somewhere. And sure enough, we get down to the very last pack after I've just gotten just garbage all the way through. And, well, no, not necessarily. I mean, I didn't get any new cards. I did get a lot of foils. I just didn't get any new things that I needed. And sure enough, the last pack that I opened had Ravu in it. So Eric narrowly avoided paying for my dinner. He did get, however, a Waterspout Gargoyle and a Hovercraft Glu-urrgle, so whatever. Now, before I jump ahead to the deck that I ended up playtesting and using on Sunday, I want to talk about something that I haven't previously mentioned on my channel before. Eric and I have been going to a Monday night league after the Sunday. The reason I haven't actually talked about it yet is because nothing's really happened. The second time we went there, however, there was this guy who was there, and Eric and I were just, playing a couple games for the heck of it, and somebody came by and recognized Root Trap as being Natural Snare from Duel Masters, and we asked him if he was there for the league. He had no idea what we were talking about, so we literally got an old Duel Masters player who just stumbled into the store, right place at the right time, and Eric and I talked to him, and we got him all kinds of excited. We haven't seen him since then, but who knows? Maybe we'll see him again around another Monday or over the weekend. It'd be cool to see him again because, he's a new player and he was really excited about it. These Monday night things are taking place at Lone Star Comics in Plano, and I noticed that they sell these pretty cool deck boxes. They have a little faceplate on the front where you can put one of your favorite cards in there. I, of course, chose ReefPrince because, hey, that's me. The bottom section is detachable, so you can put dice and stuff in there should you want to do that. The boxes themselves hold 100 cards, so I actually have 2 decks in here, but I think they are pretty cool, so I went ahead and picked up one. Back to Saturday night. Eric and I went to Wingstop to discuss deck ideas, which is becoming sort of a weekly thing, and I'm really enjoying that. Eric has lots of cool ideas. And here's what I do whenever I want to make a new deck. I like to pick a card or a couple of cards that I think are really cool and have a lot of potential, and I try to abuse that as much as I possibly can. The shining example of that idea would be the Rusalka Rushdown deck. I feel like I just abused that card to no end during that weekend and narrowly missed going undefeated with it. This weekend wasn't quite as successful, but I decided to focus on two particular cards that I think are underused and if they go off are really good. And that's Skull Shatter and Waterspout Gargoyle. The purpose of the deck that we ultimately built was to play Skull Shatter as quickly as possible and then use multiple copies of Waterspout Gargoyle to keep your opponent's board presence off the board while you go finish them off. Eric and I met at McDonald's at 9 in the morning to crank out this bad boy. So after 3 hours of playtesting, this is what we came up with. Now it's very dominantly a water build with just a little bit of nature, a little bit of darkness, and 3 barrage for fire. I don't really have any commentary in terms of specific choices that I made. What this is pretty close to the original list that we hammered out. And of course, this deck list will be in the description. Just the goal here is to use the water cards to keep stuff off the board. Mana Storm on turn 5 to try and play a really fast turn 6 Skull Shatter. And then continuing to use the bounce to maintain board dominance. The reason that I splashed in 3 Barrage is that I did a couple of rounds against Eric's Rush deck and it just smashed all over me. It was one of those like, well, I hope I don't play you in tournament. Like that was my solution for the Rush matchup was I hope I don't play this in tournament. I have 3 Barrage in here. Now, I want to know which of you cringe at the idea of a 3-card splash versus those of you who think such a thing is possible. It was working out relatively well for me on Sunday. People splashed 4 copies of Holy Awe in Duel Masters fairly frequently, so that was at least doable. I want to know what you guys think, if 3 just cuts down the ratio too much, or if you think having a splash of 3 copies of a card is still doable. That covers everything that I wanted to talk about for Saturday. Now, before I go, I want to mention one more thing, and that's there won't be a league event here in North Texas on Saturday. The Sunday event will still be going on. However, I won't be in town anyway. I'm going to go to Austin. My brother got me 3 boxes of Rise, so I'm going to head down there and we're going to do some draft and hopefully some sealed play with that. I won't have any league videos up for that weekend, but hopefully what you'll get instead is some really cool draft and sealed footage. Until next time, I'm ReefPrince.